Guys, you're looking at the thumbnail, you're looking at the title of the video, y'all already know what time it is. It is time to get active. Guys, I got a very special video for you here today. None too long ago, I did a very important video. The name of that video, Men versus Women in Sports, How Feminism Fails Everyone. It was an extremely well-received video, almost 150,000 views, which is still mind-boggling to think about. But anyway, it's an extremely well-received video, and my main argument in that video, right, is that feminism, while well-intentioned when it was started, modern-day feminism has so many people cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that it allows biological women to compete in sports versus created women, okay? And all of the negative repercussions of allowing that to happen. Namely, making it unfair for biological women to compete in sports. All right. Now, since then, my Instagram started to bubble up, went crazy. I got another compilation sent to me. And in this video, we're going to explore a little known story of literally the greatest female fighter ever versus a guy. This men versus women in sports thing is an interesting subject, so I can't wait to dive in there today. Without further ado,
can the best female fighter defeat male fighters?
Now, before we get into that particular question, I think let me just throw this out there, okay? Outside of competitive sports, okay, where people are trained, let's just bring it back onto the street, all right? Men versus women in like fighting or something like that, right? A man that is 200 pounds, untrained, versus a woman that is 200 pounds and trained. If you put that up on like a Vegas bet, the woman might be in favor. Why? Because it's not all about size, reaction time. A lot of it's about technique, right? A lot of it is about technique. And for untrained fighters, a lot of people just walking on the street just don't understand it, which is why, like, for me, for example, I'm in a fighting gym right now, and I have an incredible respect for the game, the technique, boxing, jiu-jitsu, right? Like, I roll with 150-pound dudes. I'm 200 pounds, and I can't do anything. So for me to be as big-headed to think that a 200-pound black belt woman could not submit the shit out of me, or a 200-pound, right, boxing woman against my mostly untrained ass, you know what I'm saying, couldn't mess me up, I would be absolutely ridiculous to think that. But that's not the argument in this video. This is trained fighters, trained males versus trained females, okay? I just wanted to say that off of Jump Street because I have an unfathomable respect for trained technical fighters. It's a lot harder than what a lot of y'all think, which is why it's so crazy that you untrained people walk around starting fights with people out on the street because you have no idea who is trained. That little dude that you're picking on over there, he did 3 years of jiu-jitsu, he'll wrap you up into a little cobra brawl of pain. You keep messing with him, all right? Let's proceed.
Yeah, she's the female boxer who was really the best in the world. Nobody wanted to fight Lucia Riker. So she was sparring with guys. I mean, she was probably the best female boxer ever. And nobody knows who the hell she is.
Women fighting men is a very popular topic in combat sports.
Indeed.
Years ago, media reported that Ronda Rousey could beat Floyd Mayweather in a fight.
Y'all bugging.
Today, there are still a lot of speculations that Amanda Nunes could beat male champions. Well, this is literally the best female fighter of all time. And she actually fought a man. Nicknamed the Lady Tyson, Lucia Riker is a woman who conquered the world of kickboxing and boxing. During her reign across 2 sports, the media dubbed her as the most dangerous woman in the world. She hit so hard that in a sports science show, her punches exceeded the force of a male fighter by 200 pounds.
Hold up.
A seasoned trainer who got hit by her and another Olympic male boxer said he couldn't tell the difference. When tested against Houston Alexander, a light heavyweight MMA fighter,
I was gonna rag on it at first because it looked like he threw like more of a straight punch, and then she threw a hook, which would have more torque behind it, which had more force behind it. But it looked like on the second
trainer
one,
who got hit by her and another Olympic male boxer,
it was a very
said he
similar.
couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, he threw the hook that time, and she threw him more straight that time.
A light heavyweight MMA fighter.
I remember him.
Lucia
He fought
hit
Kimbo
just as hard as him. Yes, this makes her one of the hardest hitting women of all time.
Crazy.
Widely regarded as the greatest female boxer of all time, Lucia was undefeated in all her 54 fights with women. In kickboxing, she had 37 fights and 4 world titles. Most of her fights were won by knockout. In boxing, she had 17 fights with 2 world titles. 14 of her fights were by knockout. But what happened when she fought against a man?
Let's see.
Fight fans, welcome back to another episode of Striking Breakdowns. In this episode, we explore how the best female fighter was defeated by a male fighter. This special event took place when Lucia Rijker already had 4 world titles in kickboxing. Training with the legendary Vos Gym from the Netherlands, her corner included the great Ernesto Hoost. By the time of this fight, Lucia ran out of kickboxing opponents and her trainer suggested it could be a good idea to fight a man.
Which is absolutely brilliant marketing strategy, but the wrong time, the wrong decade rather, because this trans woman information and news hadn't reached this level and degree as it is right now. So it didn't get the necessary media attention, because even with this happening, none of us even know about it, right? But imagine if it happened today. Oh God, that it might be bigger than Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley or whatever the next fight is. It might even be bigger than that. But anyway, let's proceed.
Her opponent was Somchai JD, an amateur fighter in Australia. He had a total of 14 fights and was a local amateur champion.
That boy ready.
The first round was closely contested, but Somchai landed the cleaner power shots. He even knocked Lucia's head back with a big cross. The Thai also swept Lucia multiple times, once with a teep, another with a roundhouse, and then once inside the clinch. Somchai didn't look like he had better technique, but he was clearly faster and more powerful. Lucia was also able to sweep Somchai once, and for most of the round, she was the one pressing forward with aggression. Overall, Somchai covered the long range much more effectively than Lucia. This was important for him to be a sniper, allowing him to land clean shots without a response. It's obvious here that it wasn't the technique that made the difference, it was the power and speed. In the second round, it was clear that Lucia wanted to overwhelm her opponent and tried to steamroll him. She was able to put Somchai onto the ropes and start swinging. After landing several big punches, she had her opponent cornered. But that's when he started swinging back, landing a left and right hook with an uppercut that sealed the knockout.
Oh. She sleep. Oh.
The fight was immediately called off and the trainer came in to cradle Lucia. It was a courageous showing by the best female fighter of all time. After this sanctioned exhibition fight, Lucia would go on to be trained by Freddie Roach and dominate the world of boxing. At one point, she was a superstar who received $1 million fight offer. When she retired, Lucia became a motivational speaker and a coach, at one point coaching Ronda Rousey for striking. As for her opponent Somchai, not much is known about him. Contrary to what many people speculate,
floated back in obscurity.
Somchai was not Thailand trained. He moved from Thailand to Australia and New Zealand at a young age and learned his Muay Thai locally. What we do know is that he wasn't part of the Thailand fight circuit and would not fare well against top Muay Thai fighters. What are your thoughts about man versus woman in a sports competition? Do you think they should sanction matches between the two genders? Drop a comment below to share your thoughts.
Listen, at the end of the day, let me try to answer that question from my perspective. I think if they want to do it, let them do it. But have its own division, right? Don't force biological women to compete, and especially in combat sports, against created women, right? Don't allow that shit to happen. Or you can have your own division, right, of trans athletes to compete against one another. But all of the fighters that want to participate, whether male or female, have to shake hands and agree to participate in that event. The problem that I have is leveraging this feminist push idea or driven idea of equality amongst the sexes to then allow biological males, to participate with women. I think it's very unfair for the women. And just like in this case, at the highest level, trained men and women, same weight class, you see that the best woman fighter in the world can't even compete with the average trained male. Just like the commenter said, he was too strong and too fast. Guys, that's what I'm gonna leave this one here today. I'm gonna leave a link to this particular video down below. Make sure you guys go up to this channel. The content creator has fantastic breakdowns, fight breakdowns. If that's what you guys are into, I'm actually gonna double back and go look at a couple of videos on my off time as well. All right? Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. Guys, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Leave it down in the comment box down below. Let's continue to have fantastic discussions regarding this. Maybe even do a live stream about this. So I want people who do not agree with me to come up. We can have a conversation. You guys let me know if you want to see that. All right? Until next time, YouTube.